How to get in bikini shape before summer, step by step, the no BS way. You have a holiday coming up, barbecues with the family at the pool, any important event that may require you to be in a bikini. Me and my team of doctors are going to give you an easy to follow protocol. But I have to be honest, it will be challenging. My name is Michael Diamonds. I'm a pro natural bodybuilder. I'm a scientist who majored in biochemistry and microbiology and a medical doctor. Me and my team of doctors are going to lay out a blueprint for your bikini body before summer. Let's not waste any time and dive straight in. I have the beautiful team of Sculpt by Science here, coaches that have coached hundreds of women in achieving their bikini body. I want to start with Coach Max first. What is the number one thing you believe women need to know to achieve a bikini body and to do that before summer?
Yeah, I think, one of the most important things is just understanding your body. We have so many clients who come in our doors who get frustrated at the scale, get frustrated with how their body's responding. And I think one of the most fundamental reasons is just not understanding their bodies and the hormones that play during their cycle. So for me, what I really wanted to chat about was, I'm just going to share my screen here just to show a little table, is the different phases of the menstrual cycle and sort of how it does affect how you're feeling, performance, endurance, all of that stuff. So broken it down into the follicular phase and the luteal phase. So the follicular phase is generally day 1 to day 14. So from menstruation to ovulation. And luteal phase is basically the other way around. So it's from ovulation to menstruation, day 15 to day 28. The key hormones that we want to be aware of in the follicular phase is going to be estrogen. As I said here, it rises steadily, peaks just before ovulation. We have FSH, or follicle stimulating hormone, and we have LH, which surges to trigger ovulation. For the luteal phase, we have progesterone. This is going to be responsible, we're going to get into it a little bit more, it's going to be responsible for a lot of the bloating, a lot of the water retention, feeling a little bit sluggish, but it rises significantly and peaks mid-phase in the luteal phase. Estrogen will rise initially and then drops right off, which is also going to be affecting sort of energy levels, feeling a little bit sluggish, and then prostaglandins as well, which can increase, which causes the cramps that a lot of women do struggle with. So energy levels in the follicular phase, you're going to have high energy due to rising estrogen. Estrogen makes you feel good, gives you high energy, makes you want to compete, makes you want to exercise, high motivation hormone. We'll also have improved stamina and, like I just said, high motivation. So it's a great time to really push yourself in the gym. In the luteal phase, you will have lower energy due to the increase of progesterone. Progesterone will make you feel fatigued, might give you a little bit of brain fog, might make you feel a little bit less motivated. Like I said, fatigue, sluggishness is very common, especially in the later half of the luteal stage.
I'd also add that starting during the follicular phase is an amazing time to start your bikini body transformation, as opposed to the luteal phase when motivation is low. So if you are looking for a great time to start, it's usually in that first week of bleeding.
Exactly. Couldn't have said it better. For sort of performance in the gym, in the follicular phase, this, as I said, optimal time for building muscle, building strength, getting in those big lifts, really trying to push yourself as hard as you can in the follicular phase. Your endurance is going to be improved, and this is because we have improved glycogen storage and utilization. So meaning that we can use glycogen in a better way, more efficient way, which is going to allow you to have better endurance. So say, for example, you are a runner. This is the time to push for that 5K PB. Recovery, you're going to have faster recovery due to estrogen. So obviously, as I said, estrogen is going to be a little bit higher, and it has an anti-inflammatory effect. So it's going to allow you to recover a little bit quicker between workouts, which sort of loops into it being a great time to push yourself harder because you can recover more efficiently. You also have a lower injury risk during the follicular phase. In the luteal phase, we'll have reduced strength due to higher body temperature and fatigue as that estrogen starts to drop off and as the progesterone starts to rise. Endurance, we have reduced glycogen storage, so completely the opposite. Not a great time to be pushing yourself super hard, running, whatever it might be, in the gym, doing intense HIIT workouts, because also recovery is going to be slower. So here we really want to focus on low impact activities. So something like yoga, great activity, low impact, easy to recover from. Something that is super interesting that I was reading recently is you have a higher injury risk in the luteal phase. And this is due to relaxin, which is a hormone that loosens ligaments. It makes ligaments a little bit more lax. Moving on to body image. In the follicular phase, you're going to feel way better. You're going to have a better body image perception as well, because you're going to feel leaner. You're not going to be bloated. You probably are going to have more of that flat stomach look that we're after in this bikini body, in this bikini body phase that we're shooting for. And most importantly, and this is what plays on a lot of the clients I've worked with, is weight fluctuations. Why is my weight going up? It's so frustrating. I'm dieting, I'm putting in the work, I'm doing cardio, but my weight's going up today. So important to realize that this is normal. This isn't because your body is not responding. It's because your body is doing exactly what it should be doing. Progesterone's up, it's going to make you hold on to more water. You may also feel a little bit of breast tenderness, and you might have discomfort in other parts of your body. It may also affect body image, like we said with the bloated. And sort of like we touched on a little bit here, is with follicular phase, you're going to be positive, motivated, emotionally stable. You're going to feel good. You're going to have a positive outlook on life. It's a great time, like Dr. Mike said, to really start a program, to take the first step, pick up a hobby, an active hobby. So practical tips on these phases. So in the follicular phase, we want to focus on high intensity workouts, strength training, and skill development. Take advantage of your increased energy, strength, and endurance. And it's the ideal time to try new exercises or pushing your limits, whatever that looks like for you. In the luteal phase, we want to prioritize recovery, flexibility, low intensity exercises, yoga, stretching, zone 2 cardio, perfect time to incorporate this. And I think so important here is listen to your body. Listen to your body and adjust your intensity as needed. Focus on hydration and nutrient-dense foods to combat bloating and fatigue. Really important phase there. And the last part I wanted to chat about is nutritional needs. In the follicular phase, it's a great time to increase your carbohydrates, or to eat more carbohydrates, because we're able to utilize them more for energy during our high intensity workouts. We want to be making sure our protein's nice and high to support muscle repair and muscle growth. And also iron-rich foods to replenish losses from menstruation. So this is specifically, I put here early in the follicular phase. In the luteal phase, we want to be having magnesium-rich foods to reduce cramps, improve moods. You can also supplement with magnesium. That's also going to be giving you the same benefit. We want to have complex carbs to stabilize our energy levels, to get that, so low GI carbohydrates that are more slowly digested. And then also healthy fats to support hormone production. Is what a lot of people out there do, is they bring fats down too low. Fats are essential for our hormones. So these are my big tips here on the two phases of the menstrual cycle, the follicular phase and the luteal phase.
And I'd also like to add, just as a nice summary for both phases. In follicular phase, push hard, lift heavy, aim for progressive overload, capitalize on your carb tolerance for energy. Luteal phase, I want you guys to listen to your body, scale back the intensity if needed, emphasize consistency, and manage the bloating with hydration and the potassium-rich foods like bananas and spinach. And across the cycle, we want to keep a high protein diet, at least 1 gram of protein per pound. I even like sometimes as high as 1.3 grams. Time your carbs around your workouts and adjust your calories based on the goals. And if you are having high cravings or any PMS symptoms, then listen to your body in those events. It isn't going to ruin the entire diet. But that's amazing, Max. I think that's a great summary. And we'll try and find a way to give ladies that entire table. Yeah, go for it, Max.
I just wanted to add in there as well, which I forgot to mention at the end, is that if you are interested in learning a little bit more about your cycle, there's 2 awesome apps that I would recommend.
Yeah.
The one is Flow, great app. The other one is called Starburst. I like Starburst just because you can share it with your partner. So say, for example, I know what's going on with my partner. I know what to expect. I know how she's feeling. So awesome app to utilize as well.
Yeah, I think all men should have an idea of where their partner is at. Good information to have. Perfect. Now, bikini body. I want to dive in and chat to Dr. Amy about what nutritional changes and adjustments someone needs to make to achieve their bikini body before summer.
So I have 3 things that I always like to go back to when it comes to nutrition for wanting to get that dream bikini body. So the first one is eating enough protein. The second one is eating enough calories. And the last one is time restricted feeding. The first 2 are actually very closely linked to one another. And the reason I want to emphasize it is because when working with clients and even in my own personal journey, I found that women are mainly underfueling their bodies. And the reason for this comes from a whole lot of different places, but I think a large portion of it is if we look at the history of what the wellness industry has been feeding to women and the advice that it has been given, is if you want to achieve your bikini body is to simply eat less. So it comes from this idea, the prescription that Women, in order to get the dream bikini body, should be eating fewer calories, and this number of 1,200 calories has been thrown around. So a personal story, and I think a lot of women can relate, is I subscribed when I was younger to a service from a magazine that offered me a bikini plan, and a stock standard calorie number of 1,200 calories was given. And this was way under the number of calories I should have been eating. Because I was very active at the time. So all it led to was a low mood, very poor output in the gym, and ultimately binge eating because I was just too hungry to sustain it, to be honest. So my advice for women wanting to start their bikini body journey would be start off by finding out how many calories you eat just at maintenance on a normal day. So apps like MyFitnessPal can be really valuable. Eat a normal day as you normally would, breakfast through to dinner, and find out how many calories you are eating using this app. Then when you want to go and use a tool, like we'll go through a website and recommend one, you can sort of use that to be able to understand the calorie number that they give you. If it's 1,000 calories less than what you are usually eating, this is where you can start to use your intuition to understand that that's going to be way under fueling your body. So I think I would say going to Google and using the nearest website can be something valuable, but you need to be able to understand what your maintenance calories are to be able to interpret that, so it can be a realistic number for you that's going to fuel your body and not lead to those adverse outcomes that I spoke about earlier. It also gives you the option to calculate how much protein you should be eating. And in this case, I would move the dial all the way up, as you mentioned earlier, to be eating at least 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. And women seem to be scared a lot of the time to eat protein. There is an ethos that eating too much protein is going to lead to a bulkier look. And women, when they want this bikini body, they want a toned, lean look. That's sort of the goal, and they don't want to become bulky. And there's an idea that giving your body too much protein and going to the gym is going to lead to that look. And I would want to, reassure people that that's not the case. Protein is our most metabolically active macronutrient and has the most thermogenic potential. So to summarize, what that means is that simply by eating more protein, you are giving your body the ability to put on muscle, meaning that just walking around throughout your day with a higher muscle weight on your body, you're going to be a leaner version of yourself. And that all comes from just prioritizing protein like you never have before. So I definitely think that would be something that women should focus on is a high protein, calorie controlled diet to get to their bikini body guide. That's the right amount of fuel for their body. And then the last thing that I wanted to speak about would be time restricted feeding. And a lot of terms get thrown around with this, like intermittent fasting, but I personally like the term time restricted feeding because that's all it simply is. And it makes sense. If you, for instance, have a bicycle and you cycle that bicycle for 20 hours a day compared to you cycling a bicycle for 10 hours a day, the wear and tear on that bicycle is going to be less when you're only cycling for 10 hours a day. The same thing comes from our body. We have our pancreas, our liver, our gut that's constantly having to break down calories. And if you are eating over a 20-hour period, which a lot of people actually are, if they're starting their breakfast at 6 in the morning and eating, having their last cup of tea until 10 p.m. at night, you are never giving your body a break. So if you have a time window where you restrict the amount of time that you're going to get your calories in, you just allow your body that rest, and so it becomes more efficient. And the clients that I have implemented this in, they just live a leaner, healthier lifestyle just by restricting the amount of time that they eat in a day. So I definitely recommend it.
I wanted to do a little exercise with you, Dr. Amy. I think one thing that women are very surprised by is A, how many calories they should eat, and then B, how much protein exactly they should eat. A common thing I see even with male and females is that when we give them the actual calories they should eat, they're shocked because they've never eaten so much food in their life. So I wanted to do a quick exercise with you. So you can use any app you desire, but this one here is calculator.net. They all follow the same formula in reality. You can also use any AI tool to input the same info. So Dr. Amy, maybe if you can give me some metrics here of one of our previous clients, we won't mention a name, and let's see what the calories come out to, and we'll show people, what's the best way to adjust their calorie intake using this website. I'll also link it in the description.
Perfect. So age is 49.
Okay, 49 years. Interesting. Gender?
Female.
Female, okay.
5'1".
5'1", okay.
158 pounds.
158 pounds. And how many times would they train in a week?
4 to 5 times, yeah.
Okay, so that's the one interesting thing here. When someone trains 4 to 5 times, I put them as active, right? As an active individual. So 5 times is active, between 3 to 4 times, I would put them as moderate, and above 5 times, I would put them as very active, 6 to 7. So I would put them as active. And then
Perfect.
Our objective would be for them to lose 1 pound per week.
Yes.
Okay. Not 2 pounds?
I like, for women especially, a 1 pound a week is a sustainable goal that's realistic.
Agreed. I think this way you can always increase the pace later, but this way we can also circumvent any of the potential risk factors like severe hunger. And this is the formula. It's called the Mifflin St. Jeor. Let's hit calculate. Right? And these are the macros that you're going to get. You're going to get 1,553 calories. Dr. Amy, is that accurate? Would you say that's the calories that she started on?
That is. She was eating a bit more than that, and I actually started her on 1,500 calories. Alrighty.
Okay. So another advice is that when you get these numbers, guys, it's more so theoretical numbers. You need to put them into practice. The numbers don't mean anything besides putting them into practice. Also, another note, the calories on your food labels are off sometimes by even 20%. So the most important thing is that you're actually putting it to work. So let's play around with the macros. As Dr. Amy said, we're going to take protein intake. For reference, she's 151 pounds, right? No,
158.
She's 158, right? So we want to get her protein as high as we can, as close to 150. Now, this app doesn't get her there, but 132 is what we'll take. And where would we say that we want her fats to be?
I like to do the fats at least 25% of the total calories. So
Okay.
That's going to be 375 calories, which is going to be 41 grams.
That's 41 grams of fats, right?
Grams
Okay.
of fat. Yeah.
So we're going to put that all the way to 41, have the fats there. So this would essentially be decent macros for her to follow. 1,553 calories, 41 grams of fat, 173 grams of carbs, and 32 grams of protein. In reality, we know that 1 gram of protein is equal to 4 calories and 1 gram of carb is equal to 4 calories. So if we were to do this ourselves, really manipulate it, we would move some of the grams of carbs to the protein. So would probably be at 150 grams of protein, right? And then would be at 153 grams of carbs. So essentially this would be 153 and then this would be 150. And those are calories. Another easy way is to do the 40-40-20 split, but those are your macros. And what are just some quick ones? Let me ask Dr. Jess, quick protein sources you would recommend for ladies for a bikini body.
You want lean protein. So my favorite ladies are ladies who actually eat meat. So I would say any lean protein, any meats ending in oin, strip loin, loin,
Sirloin.
fish. Yeah, sirloin, exactly. Fish, great sources. Your animal sources are super easy sources of protein, right? So if you can get a lean cut of pork, even chicken, obviously the kind of bedrock, right? Everyone knows about the chicken breast, the unseasoned, everyone's nightmare, unseasoned chicken breasts and vegetables on a diet, right? So there you can also get protein from other sources, right? So from dairy, from yogurt, from cottage cheese. You can get it from eggs.
There you go. I'll also just say, I think we covered it there, but I think it's a great segue to your segment, Dr. Jess. The tip number 3 for a woman to get a bikini shape before summer.
So my biggest tip is just going to be the consistency of output. That's it. If you want a bikini body, well, what most people want now, they want a bikini body and a booty, right? Then be consistent. That is what it is. Pick a routine and stick to it. It's either going to work or it's not. If it doesn't work, pivot, stick to another routine. Weight training is just the best way to get a bikini body, right? So aside from all the myriad of benefits, ladies, if you want a bikini body visually, in terms of visual changes, weight training is the thing that's going to get you visual changes the quickest. So the thing is that scientifically, when you lift weights, right, you're making all of these tiny tears in your muscle fibers, and with adequate rest and proper nutrition, your body then repairs them, which is going to make your muscles bigger, stronger. And this process, as we all know, is called hypertrophy. But the thing about hypertrophy is that it requires repeated stress over time. So if you're inconsistent, the stimulus is too sporadic. So your muscles don't get the signal that they should keep adapting. So my advice is just be consistent, right? You should be weight training 4 to 5 times a week, ideally. And if there's a particular muscle group that you want to see hypertrophy for, so for instance, if you want a booty, then do 2 to 3 lower body workouts weekly with a glute focus and you'll be sharp. And so people love, talking about mind muscle connection as well. They love it, but the honest truth is that any strength gains that you want, they actually come from your nervous system, right? So your nervous system learns to recruit more muscle fibers, and then that allows your muscles to grow denser. And that happens incrementally through, you guessed it, regular training. So if you're skipping too many sessions, you lose that neurological efficiency, basically, which then forces you to kind of restart the whole process again instead of building on it. So think about how you would treat your house plant. I mean, you don't walk past it 29 days a month and then randomly one day just dump a gallon of water on it and just hope like hell it grows. That's not how it works. Every day or every second day, you water it a little and then your plant grows. It's the same thing, right? So in order to get stronger or bigger, right, you need to gradually increase the challenge. So more weight, more rate, more intensity. Consistency is what's going to allow you to then track and then build on your efforts, right? So if you're erratic, you can't establish a baseline or push forward effectively, which is going to stunt any growth that you're hoping to make in the gym, right? So if you want a bikini body, and let's say you specifically want a booty to go with it, you should be training like you want a bikini body with a booty to go with it, right? So that means glutes 2 to 3 times per week, as I said, and you want to be training all the muscles that you're trying to grow, right? So in terms of the glutes, you want to be training your glute maximus, so things like hip thrusts, your RDLs. For your glute medius, you want to be doing clamshells or your lateral banded walks. For your upper shelf, right? Everyone wants a top shelf, i.e. your glute minimus. Do the hyperextensions, and remember, when you're doing the hyperextensions, look like a mosquito. Your back, your shoulders should be curved over, right? That's what's going to take the strain off of your lower back. So there's lots of little kind of easy ways to do it, and it's actually a lot simpler than we think. And the honest truth is, just start somewhere. And then once you've started, just keep doing it, right? And
Dr. Jess, do you have a workout for us you could share?
Yeah, actually I do. Let me show you. So I have a client. She is wanting to tone everywhere, but she wants kind of specifically, she does want to be growing the peach, right? She wants butte.
Let's see.
So she's got her 5 days of weight training. 2 days are upper body, 3 days are lower body, but they're glute focused lower body. So look, if you want the kind of popsicle looking glutes where the quads and the hammies are, if you want the BBL look, there's a way to train that way. Make no error. You just, really focus on the glutes and pretty much only do glute lower body workouts as possible. But if you want kind of lower body where your quads, your hammies are just generally beautifully toned with some hypertrophy of the glutes, then just do your 2 to 3 lower body days. You can see she's got day 1, day 3, and day 5, and note that they're all separated, right? So that she has adequate time for rest and recovery, which I'll get to. So you can see here that she's got quite a couple of exercises, as I mentioned. So the hip abductors, the hyperextensions, the cable kickback annihilates the glutes. If you want a booty, do this exercise. And so basically you can use these workouts as an outline, right? Take them, use them, live by them. Please be my guest. I want everyone walking around feeling good about themselves, and particularly on the beach, you want to be feeling good about yourself. So take them, use it as a blueprint. Please go forth. The other point I just wanted to make is just in terms of recovery, right? So your muscles essentially, they grow during rest, right? Not during training. So I think it's super important to have a consistent schedule, right? So if you're hitting muscle groups, as I showed you, let's say you're doing 3 lower body days, making sure that you do have rest days in between. And I think also, just on another note, I think sticking to a routine really does, it builds discipline and it builds confidence. Irrespective of what you look like in the bikini, you feel good about yourself, right? You're going to feel good in your bikini, and really feeling good in a bikini is actually what a bikini body is. So my thing is, why not be consistent? Why not stay sticking to your goals, so that when you are in a situation where you're on the beach and you're in a bikini, you can feel good about yourself.
I think that's extremely powerful. I like that note of your bikini body's in your mind. You guys are going to get a PDF with those workouts. We'll obviously have everything blocked off, but beautifully and eloquently put, Dr. Jess. So you guys will be able to download that. That's linked in the description. I think what we're going to do is like a bikini guide. We'll have Max's table in there. We'll have Dr. Jess's training. And then Dr. Pine is about to tell us what cardio to do for a bikini body.
Yeah, I think just to add to everything else that everybody said, there's one final piece of the puzzle that we can put in there just to make it more complete. That would be to talk about cardio, and specifically Zone 2 cardio. Now, Zone 2 cardio has been a buzzword on the internet for the past year or two or so, and that's because people are rediscovering how important it is. The reason it is very important is not only because it boosts your metabolism and puts you in that fat burning range. It's mainly because you're recovering. It's a recovery pace, and it's not too demanding, which means you can do more of it for longer. When it comes to lifting weights, you're doing 30, 45, say an hour maximum a day. So what is Zone 2?
Yeah.
Now, in terms of Zone 2, it's a steady state cardio. So it could be, your body doesn't really know the difference between running, cycling, elliptical, or anything. It knows heart rate, which responds to training intensity. So whatever it is you're doing, whether you're carrying things, walking up an incline, biking, swimming, if you're keeping your heart rate within a certain zone, you're at Zone 2. Now, we have many zones. Most people agree that we have 5 or 6 zones. And Zone 2 would be about 120 to 140 beats per minute for most people. However, this is not really accurate for most people because your smartwatch can tell you better what your Zone 2 is, because your Zone 2 is based off of your max heart rate. Your max heart rate is going to differ obviously from person to person, and it's not age dependent. So if you're wearing a smartwatch for, let's say, longer than a week or longer than a month, it will know your habits, it will know your max heart rate, it will give you your Zone 2 range. Let's say your Zone 2 range will be in the 120 to 140 range. So you're going to keep your heart rate there. And when you're working out, you will look at your heart rate and not your pace, distance, or anything else, because you're caring about Zone 2 training. So whatever you're doing, if you're wearing your smartwatch, please look at your heart rate, not the pace, not the distance, not anything else. Because if you're looking at pace can differ. For example, if you're running, trail run, if it's an incline or a decline, your pace will change, but you want to keep your heart rate within that range, Zone 2. So that's going to be really, really important for us to do. Now, with most of our clients, it has been that final, again, piece of the puzzle, that just breaker of the wall when it comes to hitting plateaus, to add in that Zone 2 cardio to boost their metabolism and thus lose more fat. However, one caveat is that Zone 2 training requires some time. As Dr. Jessica put it, weight training gives you more immediate results, as in you will see results within a month. With Zone 2 cardio, you're building up that aerobic capacity. It will take at least 3 months, but that's fine. Nothing we're doing here is going to be overnight. So even if you're going for a bikini body, you're not expecting it to come in 2 weeks. So building that aerobic capacity will have you, everything else everybody else talked about, it will make it easier because it simply boosts the metabolism, making fat burn easier, and also making muscle gain a lot easier because it boosts your circulation, boosts metabolism, and very importantly, as we said, keeps you in that fat burning range. Now, ideally, how you want to do it is you want to program it in terms of 3 to 5 sessions a week, 30 to 60 minutes each. Again, keep it at about 60 to 70% of your max heart rate, which would be, let's say, about 120 to 140 beats per minute for most people. Just look at your sports watch, any fitness tracker you have, it will tell you your specific Zone 2. For me, for example, it's about 122 to 138. That's my Zone 2. So you're going to be doing that. And if this is too much to start with, which is fine, it can be too much to start with, especially since most people will not have done cardio for years and years, you can build up to it slowly and gradually. I recommend that you build up to it in about 12 weeks, which is what we do with the clients. You'll start very slow and steady, 15 minutes, twice a week, Zone 2. And then every 2 weeks or every week, add in about 2 minutes, whatever you're doing, whether it's the elliptical, whether it's the stationary bike, even if it's running, which we don't recommend generally that you start with running. It's better to start with a machine, steady state, just so you don't hurt the joints, whether it's, again, swimming or an incline walk, which is also great. Start at 2 sessions, 15 minutes every week, at a minute or two, in about 12 weeks or 3 months time. You're there. You're doing 30 minutes, 35, even 40 minutes of zone 2 cardio 3 times a week, which is incredible, and your metabolism is boosted. You have way more energy throughout the day, and very importantly, it doesn't really demand much of you. So zone 2 is used for recovering. You can literally do your workouts right afterwards. So that's why zone 2 has been the final piece of the puzzle. Obviously, there will be also other recovery methods that we can use once everything here is done. But as long as anybody does all these things, they will get to the body that they want. And then we will talk about recovery.
I would even add something that for the bikini body ladies, right? So Max has beautifully told us about how to understand your body and the changes during the cycles. Amy has told us what foods to eat and how much you should eat, for example. Dr. Jess has showed us the workouts, and the workouts should be how we kind of shape this bikini body. And Dr. Pine has shared the cardio to kind of burn the fat where it should usually come off, right? Holistically. What I would recommend for ladies as well in terms of that zone 2 cardio, I'm a massive fan of the Stairmaster. So Stairmaster is amazing because you're elevating. Every step up is amazing for glutes. Right? Step ups is one of the best glute workouts that you can do. And essentially every step on a Stairmaster is a glute exercise and a lower body exercise. So just like Dr. Pine said, you guys can start at week 1, 2 sessions, 15 minutes. And then you can play around with if you either want to do it longer or if you want to do it more often. So let's say week 1, 2 sessions, 15 minutes. Week 2, 3 sessions, 15 minutes. Week 3, 3 sessions, 20 minutes. Week 4, 4 sessions, 20 minutes. And you can manipulate the duration and the frequency to what fits your plan. Get into the zone 2 range, as Dr. Pine said, of that 120 to 140. And in my experience, I've really found that this is the best range. You don't get too hungry. We find our clients not dealing with the side effects of too much cardio by getting too hungry because they're in that zone 3 and zone 4, and it allows for better recovery. The last piece of advice that I'd give the ladies, and this is how you can chip away at your bikini body throughout the whole day, is just getting your steps. That's the easiest small win you can do. And the recommendation is start at 10,000 steps, but I've seen this magic number with our clients at 15,000, like all systems are go. I think the scientific explanation for it is 15,000 steps really covers any mistakes you may make during the week. And the body, it's not too much where it's impossible and it's overtaking your life, but the body is able to burn all the calories necessary, even to push over those plateaus that you may face. So I would recommend week 1, 10,000, 2 weeks after, do 11,000, month 2, do 12,000 and move your way up to 15. But if you're super fit, you can just jump to 15,000. And those are our 5 steps. If you do this consistently for 30 days, like Dr. Jess said, build on that, go for 60 days and build on that to 90 days, you will be in shape by summer. If you want to work with any of us, any of my team of doctors, it is the first link in the description to fill out an application to work with us. But I'll leave the video here. I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.